Welcome back. Today we're answering all your questions, so let's just jump in. How does Grant feel about minimalism, and was it hard for him to move to the States? Does he miss home? So first, how do you feel about minimalism?
I don't know, we're kind of semi-minimalist. I mean, there's no like borderline on minimalism. There's no like, how far do you want to go with it? Do you want to just live in a blank paddock?
With nothing.
You pick and choose what you want out of life, and so what works well with minimalism is just being focused on what you don't really need, what you kind of want, and just making decisions that make sense as opposed to just getting it and putting it away for a day that's never going to happen.
Yeah, I would say that we are definitely not extreme minimalists. We are minimalish, people use the word, or just organized, simplified. I don't think we're super minimal, and recently I've been thinking more about this, and I feel we definitely have a minimalist mindset. So like, we're not gonna buy anything that we can't afford. We don't wanna just shove every cupboard full of stuff. So that's kind of my take on minimalism lately.
I didn't really know about minimalism when I was younger, but I moved to the States with not even a full bag. Like, my bag was mostly her stuff. I had 3 pairs of underpants, like 2 pairs of shorts. I didn't even have shoes. I came to America without shoes.
Flip-flops only.
That's my story. Just flip-flops.
But as a disclaimer, all your stuff was really bad and needed to be replaced at that point. So that's why I think we didn't bring...
It's not very nice saying that. Like, some of those shirts weren't that bad.
Okay. Was it hard for you to move to the States?
The seat I was sitting in was a little uncomfortable.
Grant's 6'5", so
yeah, it's a big change. You're saying goodbye to everyone you know, and your clothes that aren't any good.
Also, I can relate to how you felt moving here, because I moved there. And so I left everybody I knew here, left all my stuff, family, everybody and everything, and moved to New Zealand for 3 years, and then brought him here. So it was almost like we both went through the same thing. Yeah. In the reverse. Yeah, I do feel when we first moved here, it was especially hard in some ways because we didn't have jobs, we didn't have, we weren't set up in any way. So we moved in with my parents, which was a huge adjustment to going from our own place to now moving in with my parents. We got married, we were on a 90-day visa, so we got married within 90 days of moving here. And we didn't have really anything of our own, no jobs, no nothing. So, right, that was probably the biggest. To be honest,
it's actually, like, moving to America is actually a total nightmare. If you move here as an immigrant, like doing it the legal way, so you get a 3-month visa. They designed it to make it impossible. You get a 3-month visa, which takes 2.5 months to get for your work permit. You have to have a driver's license for your work permit. You can't have a driver's license without a work permit, all this stuff. And then I did my written driving license test, passed it, and then they said that I needed to have 3 months left on my visa for it to be valid, which means like you'd have to land at LAX and go straight to the DMV and get your license that day.
Right.
So they have all these loopholes that are definitely on purpose to make it difficult for people to try and get established. I think it's like, if you come here with $1 million or 2 or 3, fine, you're good.
Yeah.
But
and we had to go to the courthouse in LA many times to get everything approved and all that, and then jump through all the like loopholes when he became a citizen, right? I mean, we had to apply to all that, and it's a lot to get the work permits and everything when you're first getting established. So it isn't just simple.
Yeah, so then I got a work permit finally, like on the last month of my visa, and then I got married, and then I was on a different visa, and then I had to get another work permit for that, which took weeks to get. So it was hard. Luckily, I had someone that worked with me on that, but didn't pay me anything. That was another thing. I started out here, I made no money working in construction.
Yeah.
I was making less in a week than I was making in half a day in New Zealand.
Yeah.
If you can fathom that.
But with time,
right,
you have to, because when you go from another country to a new country, you have no work history, you have no proof of anything, so you're pretty much starting at the bottom, where you were already kind of near the top in New Zealand, and so you came back here. He was working for free for Habitat for Humanity and a few other free things, and at least that got you something on your resume, and then he just worked his way up from there.
I got to figure out what an inch was, and then fractions. Let's move on.
Do you miss home?
I'm at home. This is my home. No, yeah, no, all the time. I miss the people and the place. New Zealand's it's a beautiful country. Of course, I miss it. But the reality was in New Zealand is I couldn't really get established there. Not in Auckland City. It's really expensive. I know it's not cheap in California or probably other parts of the States. It's actually quite difficult getting established when you're young. Everyone knows that. It's actually getting harder and harder. So it was a lot easier here to get ahead as far as, you know, to get a condo that we got. I miss New Zealand. I miss home. I miss my friends, family, but I don't really have anything there. So if I arrived in New Zealand, I'd arrive there and there'd be nothing there for me. I'd be not at home because I'm home here now. But
home is where the heart is.
Wherever this girl is.
Home is where the heart is.
That's my home. And then
we're together. Wherever we are together, that's where home is, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's going to be in an RV in a few weeks.
Okay, yes, camping.
3 kids.
Actually, we can address some of the camping questions.
Let's go right to the camping.
So a few people asked, how was the camping? And we have not gone camping yet. By the time this video comes out, we might have already been camping. It just depends on how these videos come out, but we are at this point while we're filming this a few weeks away from camping. Another question was, are we renting the RV where we're gonna go camping? Yes, we are renting the RV. So my mom and dad are gonna rent an RV and we're gonna rent an RV, and they're gonna be put next to each other with a campfire.
I thought they were gonna be stacked on top.
So we have decided that we're going to film the camping trip, and we will have a video with that. So stay tuned. It will be either ridiculous, funny, or a nightmare. We'll see. The good thing is we'll be in a Walmart parking lot, so we'll have easy access to anything that we need. We're camping in California. It's called Bridgeport in the Sierra Nevadas. What advice would you give someone that wanted to start making videos? So my advice would be, number one, don't get hung up on everything having to be perfect and having to have the perfect equipment and all of that. If you want to start making videos, you can just start making videos. Decide what you want to make the video on and jump in. That's what I did. That set aside, if I could give out the perfect advice, I would say to take a course on it if you really want to get ahead quicker. When I did it, I jumped in, I had no idea what I was doing. I did research on YouTube, but that can take hours of time, days just watching videos on how to do certain things. Then I took the course from Lisa from Farmhouse on Boone, which I will link down below, and she really dives into exactly what to do to grow an audience, make videos, edit, everything. So I will link that down below, but in all honesty, taking a course will fast track you like way quicker than it would just to be trying to figure it out all on your own, you know, blindly. And that's the one thing that I would do if I could turn back time, is take a course way sooner than I did. I always think if I knew then what I know now, it would have happened a lot quicker. But definitely don't get hung up on everything trying to be perfect. I would say film what you are wanting to share with the world and then just put it out there, and then adjust and learn as you go along. We're doing that with him. So we're filming the projects that Grant does and we're putting them out there, and in all honesty, they're barely getting, you know, they're not getting like millions of views, a few thousand here and there, but it'll grow. None of the videos I've done have really been that good, so I can't expect much, but I'll But you're learning, that's the thing. Yeah, I'm learning. Like there's times when cause I do the editings and then we do the voiceover, he does the voiceover with me when we're editing, and so there have been times when the first video that you filmed, I'm like, okay, the camera was behind him. So all I saw half the video was like your arm or something, and then now you know that. So now you know like, okay, wait, the camera needs to be at a different angle and all that. So it's just a learning experience. Yeah, when I'm working on a project, my patience for anything outside of what I'm doing is almost zero. Mm-hmm. So for me to have to move a camera or something like that, it's almost like so it's a new thing I had to adjust to that. Yeah, and also just so you know, if you are going to start filming stuff and trying to put videos together, whatever you normally do, whatever the project is that you're normally doing, when you go to film it, it's gonna take you probably twice as long to do that project. So it's kind of frustrating. I always think, oh, I'll just pop the camera up and then I'll do whatever I'm doing. But the problem is you're having to remember to turn the camera on, move the camera, all these different things. So it can take, if I'm doing a cleaning video and I'm wanting to film myself cleaning, it can take me twice as long as it would if I just ran through my house and cleaned my house. I'm having to move the camera and all of that. So just know that it will take time, and over time though, you get better at something. Doesn't matter what you're doing, I swear. Like, just the more you do something, you can't help but get better at it and faster and everything else.
Next question.
Next question. Okay, what new art projects are you both currently working on or last finished? And then any news about baby number 4?
So,
start with the projects first.
I'm working on the side yard of our backyard. So I'm doing a pebble mosaic sort of patio pathway. I guess that's kind of an art project. It's a little tedious. It's definitely not. It's not that functional. It's functional, but it's okay. So I'm working on that. That'll come out. I don't know when.
I can put a little clip here too of what it looks like. What am I currently working on artistically? Well, in all honesty, I'm just trying to get ahead on videos because of the kids they're gonna be out of school for the summer, and then we're gonna be going on the trip camping. So I haven't had a lot of time to work on any really truly artsy things, but one thing I just wanna do is finish the art in my office that I have hanging there. So that's something, I set it up in my office. So I am, even if I just do one little brush of paint, I'm gonna start working on it. I just want to.
There's a rumor that she may start a hand-painted mural on our bathroom wall.
Yes, the front bathroom. So I had a lot of questions, but I'll link the videos down below. Everything I talk about, I'll try to link in the description box. But we just redid the office room. Grant took out a door and put it in the wall, and it looks beautiful, and I'm so happy with it. And then the other side of that door was our front bathroom, and you put beadboard there, and then above that it's just a big white blank wall. So I'm going to do a mural there. Okay, any news about baby number 4? No.
We gotta work harder and just stay committed, I guess.
Not gonna happen. I'm so happy with 3. Grant was happy with 2, and now he's just like over the moon with 3. Right?
Sometimes we're a bit too far over the moon.
3 is enough for us, and I have a video that was on my other channel that I don't do anymore, and it was about the birth story of when Levi was born. But it was a pretty traumatic birth. Like, I could have died. It was, I had a uterine inversion. I think that's what it was.
Utero-inversion.
Utero-inversion. I forget how to say it. But essentially, I lost a ton of blood. And they were actually on the brink of giving me a blood transfusion. And Grant thought I was going to die, right?
Well, I mean, she lost, like, yes.
It was scary, yeah.
She lost a quart or a liter of blood in like 1 second.
It was bad.
And then she lost her color, and she was kind of like, I don't know, this is a subject for another day.
Yeah.
But, you know, those things can happen, but
yeah.
She was in a hospital.
I can actually make that video as unlisted, and I will link it down below if anyone wants to hear that story.
I think I just heard it.
It's on your channel, but it's just private. So I can do that. I will link it if you want to hear more about it, the whole story. But essentially, yes, I had such a traumatic birth. I don't want to go through that ever again. Also, I'm 40, you're 42?
It's hard to tell, huh?
We look so young. You know, I don't want to have any more right now. I feel like if I could be young forever and have a kid every 5 years, I could do that. I love, like, after 5 years and then have another one.
Where would you put them all?
I'm just saying, if I could, because I love that baby stage, them growing up, and then, like, by the time they're 5, then I feel like I'm ready to have another one, or like I could.
Just declutter the 5-year-old and have a new one?
No, I'm just saying. Anyways, I'm past it, so yes, no more. How did you 2 meet and fall in love? You are so adorable. Well, thank you for that. We met in New Zealand. I went there as a live-in nanny in 2008, and within, I think, a month of living there, maybe a month and a half, I met Grant at a bar, and we exchanged phone numbers, and he called me or texted me the next day after I gave him my phone number, and then we set up to meet at another bar, I think, like a local restaurant bar, and then really after that we just started dating, right?
Yeah, I think that weekend I took you to a party, and house party, and then we went to town after that, and
after that we just like were like this.
Then
right?
I told her that I was having a slumber party if she was interested in coming over, and none of the girls in New Zealand wanted to really talk to me because they, you know, so I had to like just wait for, I know someone's going to come into the country soon. I'll have to be patient. And then I saw her and I'm like, how long you been here for? And like a couple of weeks, good, that'll do.
How is Grant adapting to his new channel and life working from home?
I'm really enjoying it. Not getting up at 5 in the morning. I get to have an extra like hour and a half
with me,
which is awesome. Not spending so much time on the freeway. That's great. Yeah. But it was nice to get on the road and get out of the house. I actually like to not always be here, but I also like being here. It's weird. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, because when you work from home and then you're here with kids and then you're home all day. Mm-hmm. So it does sometimes feel a little claustrophobic, like you want to go somewhere, but where are you going to go? You know, you can go to the grocery store, but then you can go to the park, but sometimes you want to have more of a reason to go somewhere. Mm-hmm. And so I get that feeling, because I even feel like that sometimes. But I think overall, I think you've adapted really well to working from home. I know in the beginning you were kind of like, what am I doing? Where am I going? But now you're working on quite a few projects with the office, and then now the outdoor side yard. I feel like you're doing so much that it feels like you're getting up and just going to work kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he helps with Levi. Our two older kids go to school, obviously, so they're gone most of the day, like 6 hours of the day. And then you help with Levi when I need to be working in the office, editing videos or doing certain things. And so that's been a huge help for me just to get more done. But then I've also taken on editing your videos. So there's a balance there that we're trying to still figure out.
She does the work, I hang out with a 2-year-old. It's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, and then when you're working on projects, I'm hanging out with our kids and doing stuff around the house too. I mean, we still have to function around our house. So it's not like we can just go to work and then come back, the house is upside down. So it's a real balance when I think you're working from home. It's harder than people might think. At least it was harder than I thought it would be. What do you feel was your biggest mistake or regret in decluttering? I seriously don't have one that I can think of, honestly. Like, some people have said, because I decluttered all the baby stuff and then we had Levi, and I've had that question before, like, don't you regret that you got rid of all that stuff? And my answer is always no, because first of all, we didn't know we were gonna have Levi, so I would have never saved that stuff regardless. And if I had, we would have had to move with all of it, and then we would have had to store it for 5 years, because I had a 5-year gap between Calvin and Levi. So I don't regret any of it. And the stuff we had to repurchase, I mostly got secondhand.
Most of the stuff we had from our older kids was secondhand already when they had it, and so
it was in bad condition by the time it was done, don't you think?
Yeah.
But is there anything you regret decluttering? Do you even know?
I just don't buy stuff, so I don't have to really declutter much.
Yeah. What's your top tips for gaining and or maintaining a simplified home for those with energy limit? I feel that I also have energy limits. Like, I don't have boundless amounts of energy. I know some people have, I consider myself kind of a low energy person. Wouldn't you think?
She's low energy.
I really do. I don't have a ton of energy, and I just think my biggest tip is having less stuff. Less you have, the less you have to organize, the less you have to clean, maintain, and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. What would be your tips? Do you have a tip for that?
Just do what you can when you can, I guess. There's no need to push yourself too hard.
Like, I hear sometimes online people saying, oh, they have a cleaning schedule and they're waking up and cleaning. And I show cleaning on my channel, But I have to say, I let my house get dirty before I clean it. Like, I let the dust collect and then I wipe it. I don't go around my house cleaning just because I want to like clean.
You don't do preemptive dusting?
No, I don't do preemptive.
You dust something before there's dust on it?
No, I don't do that.
Dust can't land on it because you've already dusted it?
No, I don't do that.
There's no such thing.
I'm just saying, some people keep their house clean because they constantly clean, and I'm like more let it get dirty and then clean it. So I think sometimes when you're watching stuff online, you can get this feeling that maybe you're falling behind because everybody else has beautiful home, beautifully decorated and clean. You're only seeing a snapshot for, you know, maybe 10 seconds or a few minutes of someone's home, and I can promise you that that house does not look like that 90% of the time. So I think that my top tip for maintaining a simplified home is just to have less stuff, because then there's just less to deal with. How does a minimalist entertain? This is such a broad question that...
Miming, like, so what we'll do is we'll go into a blank room and we'll just be...
Miming.
Yes, I said miming, right?
Okay.
And rhyming, miming and rhyming.
Yeah. How does a minimalist entertain? For me, it would be, I'm assuming this means maybe you don't have a lot of stuff in your kitchen. So if you entertain, you're gonna have a meal at your house. How do you entertain? Like, how do you have enough plates and stuff like that? But whenever we have people over, I mean, we entertain like anybody else would. We get paper plates, plastic forks and knives and spoons, and you know, we have meals, and I don't know, we have a big table, we have a pop-up table, and I feel like we just entertain like anybody else would. What do you think? I mean...
So I like to do a striptease.
That's when everyone leaves.
No.
Okay. Would you mind talking about how you became plant-based? So this is something that I really don't talk about on my channel, but we are plant-based. We started to eat this way 7 years ago, or maybe like 6.5 years ago. It's
a topic that tends to get some people a little upset, unfortunately.
I don't know why. It's just our choice. This is just how we eat. And it's really not that big of a deal. Like, I don't know why people tend to get upset about the way other people eat. Like, I find that so weird. Minimalism is the same thing. Like, if you talk to somebody about minimalism, some people like get defensive and upset about it when I'm like, I don't understand. But anyway, how we became plant-based, we were watching documentaries about it, and then we just did a whole bunch of research on plant-based eating, and we feel it's healthier for us, and everyone has to do what's best for them, but that's just what we think for our bodies, and that's what we do. So
it definitely doesn't make life easier.
No. Because you can't just go to McDonald's. Like, you can't just...
That's the good thing about it, because there's a lot of things that you're just not going to eat now, and it's like, that's probably beneficial, really.
Yeah. At least we think it is, and honestly, it was relatively easy for us because we just jumped in, and just like we do everything else, we just jumped in and started doing it. And I think if you go online and do research and just type in vegan food or plant-based food recipes, you will find endless amounts of information about it. And of course, I know I'm gonna get the comment like, make sure you're taking vitamins. Well, of course, we take vitamins, we do whatever we have to do to stay healthy, but or whatever would be possibly missing in a plant-based diet, which I don't think there really is anything, but we just eat typical food, really, like vegetables, fruit, grains. I mean, we do eat some fake meat or veggie, you know, made by beans and stuff like that. I mean, I feel like it's pretty typical now for us what our diet is. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, once something becomes normal and routine to you, you kind of stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
Until you're on the road and you realize, you know, you need somewhere to eat and there isn't necessarily a ton of good options, but none of those options on the road
are probably healthy anyway.
Right.
They're like McDonald's type stuff. But yeah, that's the only thing, is when we travel, it is harder because we have to think ahead. We have to bring our own food or research where there would be a plant-based restaurant or have a plant-based meal on it, because I can tell you right now, out of all the traveling we've done, which isn't a ton, but we've been to other states and countries since we've been vegan, and it is difficult to find food that does not include like milk, cheese, like even if you get a salad, the cheese on it. I mean, it's just like there's always one thing that, you know, isn't plant-based. So yeah.
Have we talked you out of it yet?
Yeah. Anyways, we love it. We've been doing it for 7 years. We have no side effects that are like bad or anything like that. If anything, I feel it's actually made it way easier for me to stay somewhat thin without having to really think too much about it. And yeah, that's my take on it.
But do your thing.
But do your thing. I would never push that on anybody else. It's like everyone do what is good for them. And our kids, like if they want to eat cheese and meat, then they do. Like one of our sons eats probably 90% plant-based, but then he eats other stuff too. I mean, that's his choice.
And Shannon started actually about a month or so, maybe 6 weeks before I did. And I'd eat some of the same stuff that she ate, but she was like, just try it for a month. And I'm like, I'm a carnivore, man. And I tried it for a month, and I never went back.
Is your home your forever home? I say never, forever, whatever, but...
You'd have to ask the termites.
I really love where we live.
Forever.
I can imagine having this home forever, but things change, you never know.
I've been looking at homes in Beverly Hills. Yeah. It could possibly be our forever home. It's kind of it's a scary thing to think about, really, like the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Like,
but we're already 40, so it's like we're halfway there.
We're young.
Okay.
But sometimes it's good not to know everything, because it's a little more exciting, I think.
Yeah, I don't think I would ever say forever, because who knows? Things can change. Like
right.
If our kids move to another state or country when they're older, maybe we would move too. I don't know. It's hard to say. But for now, we're definitely happy here.
Earthquake just wipes our house out, then
yeah.
we'll probably go somewhere else.
Okay, are you planning any home projects this year? So I'm trying to think of what we've already done this year, but we did the office wall, which was also the bathroom wall.
Behind us right now, there's a void in the kids' room. It's about 5 feet long of closet space, which is just encased with drywall that could be turned into storage. Looming over our heads is the kitchen. We are going to redo that, and it's not going to be this year. I can guarantee you that.
It won't be this year because we don't have the money that I would like to have ahead of time saved up for that particular project. You know,
and
like I want to have all the money ready for that project to go. I don't want to be like, oh, we have to skimp on this or skimp on that. I want to have it all set in stone. And then also the design of the kitchen is still very much up in the air. Like every time I look at the kitchen, I'm like, we could do this, we could do that, we could do this. So the project's always changing in my mind, and I don't think we've really settled on anything yet for layout.
That'll be the main thing, and then when the kitchen's done, then we can actually finish the rest of the house, like the flooring and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely the kitchen is holding up a lot of other projects in this house, because we can't do the floors, which need to be completely redone, until the kitchen is done. And then we can't do the garage. We need to fix the wall that connects the garage, the shared wall of the garage and the kitchen.
So there's
termite damage.
I have to cut half the wall apart. I'm gonna have to cut the kitchen floor out to the next joist, replace all that flooring.
That's my point. So many are contingent on that kitchen.
Yeah.
And that's like, if we start the kitchen, we're really saying, hey, we are demoing a big portion of the house, really. And
that'll be good for the raccoons. They'll be able to get in and out a lot easier.
Just the thought of that is like, okay.
We've got some windows to replace as well, a few things
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
Do you have plans of visiting New Zealand in the future?
We've talked about making plans about it. So
and going to Australia too. So it's a weird, very unique situation here where Grant's parents are divorced. And his mom lives...
That's pretty unique. That's
not unique, but his parents are divorced and his mom lives in Australia and his dad lives in New Zealand. So that makes everything a very unique twist to where we decide to go. Because all your friends and where you grew up is New Zealand, but yet half of your family, cousins, and everybody else is in Australia and your mom. So when we choose where we want to go, I hate to say it, but it's very dependent on how much money you have at the time and taking off work and all that kind of stuff, because I was doing the math, and just to get to either Australia or New Zealand, it would cost us around $10,000 because there's 5 of us, and the tickets for round trip are around $2,000 each. So that's $10,000 just to get there. That's not taking into consideration food, renting a car, where we would stay, because there's 5 of us. We can't just stay with somebody, like, you know, like there's 5 people.
So that could be part of my channel, is I'm going to build a boat and sell my family across the world. Do you want? And that's the thing, that's the other thing to it. The kitchen is, do we want to put all of our resources into a house now, or do we want to, you know,
or go on vacation
experiences, which I think would be better.
Well, I don't know, once the experience is over, you're stuck with the kitchen for the next 25 years.
And we can do it later. It still works. I mean, it's...
Yeah, that's true. So you have to decide sometimes if you want to put your money into something, your home or whatever, or going on vacation. And yeah, I think it's definitely a hard decision to make. How does minimalism inspire your husband? This person says they've always been the more minimal one. In our situation, for sure, Grant is the more minimal one.
Yes, but I'm not really the decluttering, organizing one.
He's definitely I'm the more organized one, and you're the more minimal one.
I can make a little bit of stuff look like a lot.
Looking at our garage, you can see that. But yeah, and it depends on what you're considering, what areas of your life are minimal. So I would say for sure, certain aspects of our lives are more minimal than others. For instance, the furniture we have in our house, and I would say the main living parts of our house, are more minimal. We don't have an overabundance of decor or furniture. But then when it comes to like tools, you need the tools you need. I mean, that's still minimalism because you're using them every day. It's minimalism is just not having the stuff you don't use and you don't need stored in your house. At least that's my definition.
Right, but there probably is stuff in my garage that I could probably let go of for sure. And that could be a video coming up soon.
Yeah. And also the kids too, I would say, I think they're more on the minimal side compared to most American kids. But at the same time, they have their stuff that they want and they keep in their room. And as long as it can be organized and it all fits in their room, then I say that's fine. Is Grant going to stop working at the end of the year? Or is it based on how well his channel does? Are you running out of spaces to declutter? Grant stopped working at the end of 2023. And from that point on until right now, we've been working here together at home on your channel, on my channel. And so far it's been good. It's been like fun. I'm happy with it. And so it's not dependent on his channel because really the business right now is all on my channel and my blog, and that's how we're making an income. But his channel will definitely be part of that soon. So I would say in the next year is when we will have your channel really up and going.
It takes a while to get a following, even if your content's decent, which mine so far hasn't really been. I haven't really put the effort or time in, but it's kind of, we've got a 2-year-old, so there's that. We can't just both be full-time working on a project at the same time. Like right now we've got the 2-year-old, he's out playing on the street, so he's okay.
My mom's watching him.
Okay, I didn't know that. I feel much better now. Okay.
Are you running out of spaces to declutter? So I feel as if I definitely don't have, or we don't have a ton of places to still declutter. Like in the beginning, you could just open any drawer or cupboard and there would just be tons of stuff you could get rid of. I don't feel we're there anymore. We are at a place now where there will always be things to declutter because we have kids and just because of life. Like you work through, clothing gets worn out and toys break and all that kind of stuff. So I feel the decluttering will never end, and that's just kind of a maintenance type mode that we're in. But as far as spaces to declutter, where I still see people online that are minimal, that are saying that they have whole house declutter and they're decluttering like tons of stuff, and I think how? I don't know how you would have that much stuff, but maybe they just only do it once a year or something. I like to declutter all the time. As soon as I know I don't need something, I get rid of it. Is your mother-in-law, Grant's side of the family, inspired by the minimalist life you are living?
No, I don't think so. They're kind of a long way away from us, so we don't have an influence on how they do their thing. And it's a generational thing. I know some of you people, you know, grew up in a different world where things weren't disposable and plastic and cheap, and you tended to look after your stuff. And in New Zealand and Australia, back in, even when I was a kid, but before then even, commodities were expensive. Like to have a possession, well, it was a big deal. Like a simple thing like a couch would be like buying a car here now.
I don't know, your mom had commented to me one time that she just doesn't care about minimalism. She doesn't watch my videos, so there you go.
But then again, my mum's never been a hoarder either, so like my dad, my mum's not really a major consumer.
Final question, does Grant have any single brothers?
I do have one.
He does have one.
Give me your address and I'll ship him up.
He'll send him over.
You'll need to pay for the postage stamp.
Grant does have a brother, and we assume that he's single, but he could have a girlfriend. We don't talk about that kind of like stuff, or you don't with your brother. So
yeah, he could be single, he could not be single.
Who knows? He doesn't have kids and he's not married. He's the complete opposite of Grant, though, I feel, right? Well, you guys are very different.
I'm trying to sell him here.
Yes, we'll send him to you.
I will send him to you. I'm also for sale.
Everything here is for sale. The plant, Grant.
$25 a night.
Okay. All right, so thank you so much for being here, being part of my community. Hopefully this gave you a little insight into Grant's personality. Maybe you already knew.
You still really don't know what's going on in my head, and I can't say most of the stuff.
If you're new, you can hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video.
It's time for my nap now.
Bye!